Hello and welcome to my channel. It is ZG here. If you like my content I bring to YouTube, please like and subscribe. Check out my Twitch, all links are on my YouTube main page. Feel free to follow me on Twitch if you like to watch a streamer stream a variety of games, also Magic the Gathering. Thanks for any support and engagement, it means a lot. I won't waste your time and let's get into the video. What is up guys? In today's Tech video I'm going to cover Hidetsugu Devouring Chaos. Hidetsugu Devouring Chaos is a 4-mana black 4/4 creature, legendary creature that reads 1 black, sacrifice a creature, scry 2, 2 generic and 1 red, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hidetsugu Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to the exile card's mana value to any target. So you want to give this haste, you want to utilize all these abilities, and this deck aims to do exactly that. But first off, one of the first win conditions, because it's red, we have the Storm combo with Runaway Steamkin and Grinning Ignis. You basically play Grinning Ignis, Runaway Steamkin gets a counter, you return Grinning Ignis to your hand, you add 2 colorless and then 1 red, then you play it again, bounce it to your hand again, giving Runaway Steamkin another counter, and then you can go bold infinite, I think it's infinite mana once you cast it 3 times, but as soon as you return Runaway Steamkin to your hand, you can net infinite like an infinite storm count. And then to seal off the deal, you have Volcanic Awakening. Storm, it's a 6 mana sorcery that reads destroy target land, and it has Storm. Then you have Grape Shot, dealing 1 damage to any target and also has Storm. And then Empty the Warrens for a very large army of goblins. Volcanic Awakening is also a high CMC, so it's good to use it with Hidetsugu to deal damage to any target. And then you have just like a list, a few spells that function very well to have on top of your library to exile. It's Altar of Shadows. Vengeful Vampire also has Undying, so you can use its first ability to kill it and then it come back. Baneful Omen, same function as Hidetsugu. Fuck, I forgot the commander's name. Hidetsugu, not Hidetsugu. Hidetsugu. Where was I? And then you have Vengeful Vampire, Baneful Omen. At the beginning of your end step, you may reveal top card of your library. If you do, each opponent loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost. So it also functions the same way as Hidetsugu to deal damage to other stuff, and it's a very high CMC. Then you have Soulfire Eruption, yet again a card that is helpful, but its main focus is to deal, in this case, 9 damage to any target. Then you have Dead Drop, it's a delve spell, 10 mana delve sorcery that lets target player sacrifice 2 creatures. Again, Hidetsugu wants to exile this and deal damage. And then we have Havoc the Merciless. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, Havoc the Merciless deal damage equal that spell's converted mana cost to any target. This is also the same as Hidetsugu, a very high CMC card, but also has a function in the deck. Abundant Mode, that again, very high CMC. The Standard Mindbender as well. Ulamak's Crusher as well. So this strategy is basically just to deal a lot of damage off Hidetsugu's ability. Then we have mana doublers. Quest of Pure Flame is a 1 mana red enchantment that reads, whenever a source you control deals damage to an opponent, you may put a quest counter on Quest for Pure Flame. Then you remove 4 and sacrifice it. And then it says, if any source you control would deal damage to a creature or player this turn, it deals double that damage to creature or player instead. So all these are basically just mana doublers, double damage, double damage. Also high CMC. Angerous Marauders is high CMC. I think I'm moving through it too quickly, but it's Ember Mohelian, and then Lambhold Raconteur. It also has a flip side, so you deal 1 damage this is not a mana doubler, but whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Lamphold Raconteur deals 1 damage to each opponent. So you can cast instants and sorceries and it deals 1 damage to everything. But all of these are basically damage doublers in one way or another. You deal double damage. So you deal double damage with Hidetsugu and deals a lot of damage, to be honest. Then a very spicy way to win the game is with Fireesses. So you enchant a creature and enchanted creature has infect. It's also a win condition, but it's just mainly to be very spicy. You can give Hidetsugu infect and then deal 10 damage to any player, and they are like out of the game because you need so infect creatures doesn't deal damage to the opponent, but it deals damage in infect counters, and once you have 10, then that's it. Like once you have 10, you lose the game immediately. There's no way. There's ways to remove infect counters, but it basically wins you the game if an opponent has 10. Then we have haste enablers with Cartouche of the Zeal. It's a 1-mana enchantment. It gives the enchanted creature +1/+1 and mainly haste, so that you can use Hidetsugu's ability very quickly. Then Lightning Molder, it has Soulbound, so if the creature is paired with this, both have haste. So you can play this on turn 2 and then turn 4 play Hidetsugu and then both have haste because they have Soulbound. Crashing Dawnbreach, turn 2 you play this, turn 3 you can give all creatures haste until end of turn. Torch Courier, it's a one mana creature with a 1/1 haste that reads sacrifice Torch Courier, another target creature gains haste until end of turn. Goblin Motivator, you tap it to give a target creature haste, and that's it for the haste enablers. But yeah, so another strat to the deck is ramping up. Basically this covers all the ramp in the deck to be able to play Hidetsugu quite soon if you must or fix mana or basically ramp you up. Is what every deck does. With Rakdos Cluestone, Seer's Lantern also has 2 to scry, so you can basically scry, look at the top, and then exile a card with Hidetsugu. You have Prismatic Lens to filter mana as well as be a very efficient it's a 2 mana and taps for 1, so the ratio is basically a 2-for-1, which is where you want to be. Burnished Heart, you sacrifice it and search for 2 basic lands, put them in a battlefield tapped. This is an artifact. It fixes your colors if you can sink 6 mana into it. Rakdos Key Rune also taps for red and black. Rakdos Locker taps red and black, and you can sacrifice to draw 2 cards. And the Key Rune also turns into a 3/1 black and red devil artifact creature with first strike, so you can even attack with it if you want to, but I wouldn't do that. You have Manalith, it's a 3-mana artifact that taps for any color. Hedron Archive is a 4-for-2, which is very efficient. It's what you want to be doing. And then last but not least, no, not last, but second last is Fire Diamond. It's a 2-mana artifact that comes in tap and taps for red. And then you have Charcoal Diamond, same story. It comes in tap, but it taps for black. And that's it for the ramp. Next is looking and digging for combos. The best way to dig for a combo is to tutor. You can also cycle, but you want to be tutoring with this. You search your library for any card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Read the Bones is a 3-mana sorcery that lets you scry 2 and draw 2, and then you lose 2 life. But it's a good ratio. Yeah, it's a good ratio. Sun in Blood, two black sorcery that says target player draws 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Same as Read the Bones, but you don't scry before. Then Brainstone. So Brainstorm is not okay. This is Brainstone, but Brainstorm is not legal in a Rakdos deck. So with this, you basically draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. So doing this, you can put anything on the top of your library, and then you can use Hidetsugu's second ability and exile it, and then deal damage equal to it to any target. So you can put a very high CMC mana value like spell or non-land per non-land card on top of your library, and then exile with Hidetsugu. Ravaging Goblin, it's a 3 mana 1/1 body that lets you discard a card and then draw a card. Thrill of Possibility, it's a 2 mana red instant that reads as an additional cost to the spell discard a card and then you draw 2. It's very relevant because it's instant speed. Faithless Salvaging, it's a 2 mana red instant that reads discard a card, draw a card, and it has rebound. Now rebound works if you cast a spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. So you use it now, and then next turn you can use it again without paying its mana cost. And then we have Village Rites. You can sacrifice a creature to draw 2 cards. It's a 1 mana instant, it's a very good value. Faithless Looting, 1 mana, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards with 3 mana flashback. That's it for the ways to dig for cards, but we can also use Hidetsugu's first ability to scry to fix draws and let you hit all your lands. But this next strategy is basically to have constant recurring creatures that you can use Hidetsugu's first ability on. Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia, is a legendary creature, a legendary human wizard that reads at the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. So with this, you create a zombie creature token with Decayed, but if you sacrifice it to Hidetsugu, you can basically use it every turn because you get 1 at the end step. Then Evernight Shade, it's a 4 mana 1/1 body, but it has Undying, so you can sacrifice it once and then it comes back. The Assembling Skeleton is a 2 mana 1/1 black creature, skeleton warrior, that reads for 1 generic and 1 black, return reassembling skeleton from a graveyard to the battlefield tapped. This is also a way to recur a creature and also use Hidetsugu's first ability on. Witcher Ghoul is a 2 mana 1/1 zombie that has Undying as well. So you can sacrifice it once, then it comes back with a counter, and it is just a recurring value. Then we have Persistent Specimen. It's a 1 mana 1/1 that reads returns Persistent Specimen from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Same as Reassembling Skeleton, you can just pay mana to get it back each time. And that is it for recurring creatures. This deck also wants to run the removal. So we have Price of Fame. It's a very efficient spell that could most likely cost you 2 mana. So it reads, it's a 4 mana instant that reads, this spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a legendary creature. And it reads, destroy target creature and then you surveil 2. Victim of Night, destroy target non-vampire, non-werewolf, non-zombie creature. So a lot of commanders does not fall in this, falls out of this category. If it's a vampire, werewolf, zombie, you can't destroy it, but it's very good. Shriekmo, you basically want to evoke this, but it's a 3/2 body that has fear. It's Shriekmo. When Shriekmo enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature, and it has evoke, so you cast it for 2 mana and then you basically destroy target non-black non-artifact creature. And that's it for removal. Now we're gonna go on to just value generating cards. One being Crystal Ball. You tap 1 mana, you 1 mana tap to scry 2, so you can fix and rearrange the top of your library any way you want to. Fevered Suspicion is a 8 mana sorcery. This is why I included it in the deck. It's very beefy, it has high mana value, so you can deal 8 damage to any target. It reads, each opponent exiles card from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among those non-land cards without paying their mana cost. And it has rebound, so you can cast it for free at the next upkeep. But you can basically cast a lot of cards for free, and it is beefy. It has a high converted mana cost, so you will deal 8 damage if you exile it with Hidetsugu. Then you have Zov Consumption. It's a 6 mana spell. Also acts as a land just to gain you value. Each opponent loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. It's mostly relevant because of how it acts as a land and it's a 6 converted mana cost card. Then we have Rakdos Charm, exile a target player's graveyard, destroy target artifact, or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So you can deal a lot of damage if someone has a lot of tokens. You can exile a graveyard and destroy an artifact, so it's just good value at instant speed. Chandra's Incinerator, it's a 6 mana 6/6 body that reads, this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn. So let's say you deal 5 damage through Hidetsugu, you can play the 6/6 body for free. It has trample, and it reads, whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator's damage deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. So if you deal non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator lets you deal that much damage to a target creature or player. So this also doubles all the damage provided and dealt with Hidetsugu. Then you have Grey Merchant of Asphodel, gaining your life according to your devotion to black. Sin Brother, very good, a nice burn piece, but it's also a 3 mana devil 3/2 menace with 3/2, that's a 3/2 body and has menace, and it reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Any opponent may have you put that card in your graveyard. If a player does, Sin Brother deals damage to that player equal to that card's converted mana cost. Otherwise, put the card in your hand. So with this, it's like it acts as a Dark Confidant, but in this case, you either put it in your graveyard and it deals damage equal to its converted mana cost, so which can be very high, and then they lose a lot of life. But yeah, it's just value, to be honest. Pain's here also very valuable. It's a 2 mana 2/2 human wizard that reach, whenever Paintier becomes untapped, reveal the top card of your library and put that card in your hand. You lose life equal to that card's converted mana cost. It's just good value, and I like the card a lot, so I include it in most deck that's black. But let's say you attack with it on turn 2 and it untaps, you just draw a card off it being untapped. That's just good value. Keswick Flame Breather is a 2 mana 1/3 human shaman that reads, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Keswick Flame Breather deals 1 damage to each opponent. Oh, I think it's double 2 of these. My bad. But yeah, that's it for the deck. I'll be sure to take that out. But last but not least, the mana base. It runs 19 swamps and 19 islands, just to ensure that you don't lose a land drop, because ramp can be quite slow and you want Hidetsugu to be out on the battlefield as soon as possible. So with this high land count, it ensures that you don't miss any land drops. But yeah guys, that is it from me. I hope you like this type of content. If you do, please like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.